Hello guys, and welcome back to Age of Conan with your host Bantu with the dungeon Den of Crowmen. I'm taking you through this dungeon as a role of a healer as class Bearshaman. My main mission, as in all dungeons with the Bearshaman, will be healing up the wounded and keep them alive and buff and debuff the enemies. So the first thing you do in Den of Crowmen is to actually go and kill a lot of birds who is on the ground. And there will be plenty of them, and there will be more and more birds, so maybe you figured all this out already. This boss in this game, at this dungeon, is one of the birds, the big bird mother. But first we have to clear all these ads on the way to the boss. So actually I had a lot of gravestones, and I fell down before. You can actually fall down up from there. But now we're gonna clear out more of these ads on the ground. You see those little eggs there as well? Those ones, you're gonna activate them and there will come down more birds. There can come one boss bird as well. It's kinda important to, if that happens, when it comes down to one of these ads here and one of the boss birds, you should kill the ad first and then you can go and kill the boss. The boss can be kinda tough, so get the ad down first and fast. But it's really easy to get forward as long as you don't activate too many of these eggs at the same time. It should not be any problem at all. So see, it comes down one bird to fight. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two, and sometimes they're like a boss, a mini boss. It's actually not a real boss, but in this game there are ads that are called bosses which are a lot tougher than the normal ads. And as always when I'm playing the Bearshaman, I try to crush the armor to reduce their armor, so we will hit more with our weapons, and also use Chosain Brawl a lot, because that one will make the enemies hit. And when you're playing as any healer in this game, try to keep up your blue heal and your green heal. Why they're named blue and green? That you can see on the ground, like see at the moment. We have the blue heal, it's around us like a circle. If you get a green heal as well, then it will be a green circle around. So you don't only have to check the cooldowns, like how long they are up, and you see at the top of the screen how long they are on. You can also see it visually in the game. So now you see you have green heal and a blue heal. But enough with that, you know that, and you maybe even knew that before, so just some basic things if anyone are wondering have never played Age of Conan. Also using internal bleed, and the thing with internal bleed is that it can be different things with it. Depending on what manifestation you use in the game, there will be different results. But I'm thinking of making one of those, like a Bearshaman guide for you guys, and talks about the Bearshaman. Some basic important things about how different abilities with the Bearshaman works and when they can be useful to use. If that is of any interest. And if it's in any interest for the other classes as well, I can make one for the future as well. But at the moment I'm very focused on my Bearshaman in this game, so the best information you can get so far by me as playing this game would be as playing as the Bearshaman, because that's probably one of the classes that I have the most experience with. I'm kinda experienced also with the Conqueror, the Guardian, and also, what was that character again? I can't remember now. Oh, I mean my Dark Templar, of course. That was one of those characters I really loved to play. I felt like when I played this game that I really wanted to play as a important character, like a tank or a healer. So I think the first one I actually made in this game was a Barbarian, then I made a Bearshaman, and then I think I made a Guardian, I think. And 2 years ago I think I made my Dark Templar, and I really loved it, and it is a really good class. But the thing with Age of Conan is, even if you're playing a DPS, sure, sometimes it might be a bit easier than playing the other ones, but at the same time, in this game, when you're playing at least hard mode, you have special missions as well. You're not just slacking about. You have to like use tainted weapons and so on some bosses to remove a heal over time effect. If you don't use that thing at some bosses, like in Palace hard mode, your team probably not gonna succeed on killing the boss. Because in that dungeon, as an example, the boss will get healed so much that you guys won't be able to get him down. Anyway, enough with that. We are getting further into the dungeon. Maybe you saw very recently that I'm using a ability called Bloodthirst. It heals a certain amount depending on how much you hit your enemies. So if you have very many enemies, like a big bunch of enemies, you can use that ability and actually heal your group quite much. One thing, as you see here as well, I did a knockback to the adds here. Some adds in some dungeons are actually possible to either stun or knockback, so you can actually crowd control these adds here. It can be very useful and maybe even important in some dungeons. And I also want to tell you one thing more as well. Since our guild is getting more active and active by the time now, you're probably gonna see a lot of more dungeon episodes with high quality with the group and high quality with me as well. And if it's anything you want me to keep out from the dungeon runs, please tell me. Because I'm trying to make this as good for everyone as possible. So in the future you guys probably gonna see some House of Crowmen action, Ardashi Fort. I was at Ardashi yesterday actually. It was a real nice place, and like fighting those rhinos and so on. Kind of fun, because I like bosses when there are more action to them. Don't just like to stand about, but some bosses in this game and all other games are just stand about and watch that specific spell, which I don't think is as fun as moving around like with that rhino boss. I really enjoyed it. It suits the game age of Conan where hitting and movement are important, so I think that's really fun. And we're actually soon reaching the place where the boss will spawn. It's gonna kill these adds down, and there are a few egg nests left. In the future as well, I will show this dungeon in hard mode. I actually did the dungeon in hard mode yesterday, in Den of Crowmen hard mode. It's some difference in that dungeon, and there can be some tricky part that you really have to focus on, because if you don't do it, you're definitely gonna die. Those things I will take in a hard mode video of this dungeon as well. And as I said, the guild is getting more active, which means more different, all kinds of dungeons in the game age of Conan. And that also means better gameplay from me and better knowledge of those dungeons as well. I have quite good knowledge of these Kitai dungeons, the early ones, but I have not really went into the depths of the game, into the deeper places in the Kitai region. And I always try to use this, as I said before, the crush armor is very useful to use. It's not only that it reduces the armor, it really hits really hard as well. You see, I get nice hits there, 864 per hit there. If you critical hit, it's gonna be amazing hits, and we combine them with different buffs that we got with different character. Like that rune of aggression that I got the buff, how the whole team's weapon damage, which means we will deal so much more damage. Always try to use rune of aggression as you're playing the Bearshaman in their places where you know that, okay, we're gonna be able to hit for a few seconds now, so use it then. Don't use it if they are like 2-3 seconds, that would be a waste, save it for the next time. The bosses like in Palace hard mode, where the DPS, like the rogues, have to taint the weapons to remove the healing buff on the boss, it can be very important as well to use the rune of aggression, because it's gonna increase the weapon DPS of your group as hell, to be honest. And since you need rogues for that as well, rogues are using a lot of weapon damage, which means that the rogues who is important in that hard mode will deal tons of damage. And you see my inventory is quite full here, so I'm just checking if there is some crap I can throw out or use here. So the thing you do now in the dungeon, now we get further into it, you have to kick this egg down all the way down. The way you activate hard mode in this dungeon is to let it stay to 50% and to start the mode. But I won't go through that now, because that will be in another video. This video is all about normal mode Den of Crowmen. So we're gonna get this boss down to 50% HP, and it's actually very easy to be honest. As long as you keep the heals up and the tank in decent gear, and everyone are using the abilities as it should, it shouldn't really be any problem with this dungeon. Just try to reduce his armor as much as you can and also make him hit less on our tank. You see he has some like AoE which he can hit around himself, but it's not so dangerous now. It gets a bit more dangerous later in the end fight in this dungeon, but at 50% we're gonna do one thing. We're soon reaching it, the next part of this dungeon. The wing tornado. That's the one thing that you will see in hard mode as well, but not from him, that's from another guy. But that I will show later as well. Now I'm wondering also, when you're watching this video, are you interested in seeing some more like pure gameplay when I'm outside, just leveling, questing and so on? So he's at 50% HP, which means we have to go up to this hill here and wait, because they're going to come a lot of adds to us, so we have to wait in the adds, clump up behind the tank. If you're playing as one of the mages like the necromancer, make sure to use as much AoE as possible, because there are very many adds here, and AoE here is so powerful and very important. If you are playing one with like a rogue or something, I think you should stand in front, because in this game all classes have different range on their weapons, which can be pretty awesome if you're playing as a Conqueror or a Guardian with the polar arm, because their range is so good. So like when you're fighting adds or anything in this game, when leveling or anything, then you will notice that it's kind of hard to get them to move to you. You have to move extra bit back to get them to you. It's something to get used to in this game. And when we have killed all of these adds that are coming right at us, just spawning in so many, then we're gonna head down back again, and then we're gonna fight the boss. Actually got 2 fatalities here, that's real sweet. Using blood first to get some health up to our team. And notice that blood first is in some places can be really good, because if there are many enemies, that means you're gonna heal a lot. And I'm also using one ability to give everyone a lot of mana as well. So you have many tools as any of the priests actually to either heal up your team, buff your team, debuff the enemies, put up like a resistance to different things. But soon the boss is coming down, there he is. The last part of the boss is pretty similar to the start. Celebrating Wind. I think, if I'm not wrong, you see it's draining a lot of mana, but it's not really so dangerous. You can use mana potions or anything like I'm doing right now, and I also have abilities which will give back mana as well. But when you're playing this in hard mode, it can be more crucial. I mean, if a healer will lose all their mana and ain't possible to really go and heal, it can be a problem for the tanks, because the boss also hits harder in hard mode as well. You see in the game also that the tanks are switching aggro between each other. That can be a very useful thing in dungeons in Age of Conan. There ain't anything that I know of, at least, that you can see how much hatred you actually got. You have to focus and really kinda know how much aggro do you really have. One of my friends once told me that, oh, how will you ever know when you get aggro? Well, it's something you get used to. You know that, oh, I'm building a lot of aggro, I just got aggro, so you kind of get a feeling of, I have the aggro and I'm not gonna lose it. But guys, here we get new loot. In all dungeons you get loot, of course, and some special loot as well that you always can loot. And you can need and have fun with that cask. So until next time guys, take care. This is Banto, goodbye. Cheers, hope you liked it. Goodbye.